Hi guys, this is Mark from Trading on the Edges, and today I have a case study about the Swiss share Roche, or in other words, how I got a 23% return in 2020 in just using options. So let's start it. Hoffmann Roche is a pharmaceutical company from Switzerland. And what are the possibilities in investing? Okay, you can go and buy right away the shares directly at the stock market. Or you could buy a call option, the right to buy the shares at a defined strike price and expiry in paying a premium, or what we are looking now today is the sale of a put option, the obligation to buy the share at a defined strike price and expiry. The good thing is that we will receive a premium. Well, for that, we check a bit Roche share in 2020. So you see it was just below 300 in the beginning, and then it went down. Here is the COVID case at I think the low was at 265, but then actually it recovers very fast because as you maybe remember, Roche was one of the first one having this kind of fast test, COVID test. So the share went up almost to 340, but then we had a kind of side channel till the end of the year. So in other words, if an investor would have bought the shares at 300, well, he would have a performance of 0% because the stock actually closed almost at the same level. But you see in the meantime the fluctuation of having a low and a high, and this is actually what I'm trying to do with the options. The first step was to sell a put option Roche shares. So Roche was on the 3rd of January, 310, around 310 Swiss franc. So what I did, I sold one put, which is equal to 100 shares of Roche at 140, so I get a premium of 140 Swiss francs. The strike was 305, expiry on the 17th of January 2020. So you see it's just a short options of 2 weeks, because it's always when you sell an option, it's obvious that you want to keep it as short as possible. The scenarios on the 17th of January were as follows. Roche could be at 310, so the put option would expire worthless since I would have the obligation to buy the stocks at 305, so I get a profit of 140. But if Roche would drop 300 or below 300, which actually was the case, well, I have the obligation to buy the shares at 305, because here I did this as 305, so I would have a book value loss of 360, meaning the 500 from 305 to 300 minus the premium I got, so it's about 360. But this is just a kind of book value loss because I would not sell the share, because now the next thing is I would sell an option. So if bought Roche at 305, sell right away an option, call option. In other words, again 100 shares of Roche equal one call option at 250, receiving a premium of 250 at the strike at 310, expiry on the February 21st. So the scenarios on 21st of February would be, if Roche would go up to 309, well, still the option would expire worthless since I would have the obligation to deliver the share at 310. But if the share would go up really to 350 and 320, well, here would be my obligation to deliver at 310. So the idea is to sell each month either a call or a put option throughout the year. Here you see now all the transactions I did in 2020. So actually I did about 23 transactions, in other words 2 per month. C for call here and P for put, and here's another put. And here you see the initial transaction I just wrote before, selling the one put at 140 Swiss francs. So in other words, you say here in the month of January, February, and even March, I was selling puts, and then actually the stock dropped. So then after that, I begin to sell call options. Here is April, there's April, another one in May. So you can see that during the fluctuation of the stock, either I sold a call option and then I had to deliver the share, or then I sell a put option, I had to buy the share. So this is again all throughout the year, just 2 transactions per month gives a very nice return of 7,200, around 7,200 Swiss francs. So in summary, the capital available was 65,000. I think this is important that you define yourself the capital, how much you really want to invest in Roche shares as a worst case scenario. Because it's always that you need to put your limits, you need to define really how much you want to invest in this strategy. Actually, my investment was just 32,000. It's because I sold monthly a put option. And once I got the share, I sold call option. And the worst case would be just that I would have 200 shares of Roche around 300 Swiss francs. Okay, I agree. It dropped to 265, but we consider the Roche share as a kind of defensive old economy stock. So in other words, it always will recover. But it's not that high speculative stock like you would see in Nasdaq. It's just a kind of basic fundamental stock. And I think it's really nice to have finally a 23% return on your investment capital. Compare to any shareholder of Roche who would bought the share at 300 or actually wouldn't do anything throughout the year and would have a zero performance. Just some notes about myself. I'm already 30 years in this business and lately just in traded options. I mean, I love to trade these options on the Eurex CME CBOT, basically in fundamental shares in Switzerland, SMI, DAX and the Dow Jones. Okay, I include Apple too. Well, actually Apple is in the Dow Jones, but it's just I think that these stocks are really interesting because they have a fundament, they are really doing earnings, and then I think it makes sense to invest in those. So the idea is just always before maybe I would invest right away into stock, I already think what are possibilities in trading with options. So I'm offering single or group online Zoom coaching. In this kind of 1 hour coaching, I will explain more about my online broker account. I will explain some strategies. I will help you how to set up an online broker account or actually at your bank as well, and giving you just really interesting advices to get into this option market. I do this kind of education videos in YouTube, like the 5 tips of become a day trader, or let's say now why I only sell options, because I used to be a buyer as well. And I think most important from my side is really your ideas, your suggestion. Whatever your idea you have, I could do a case study out of it. Well, guys, that's all for today. Thank you for your attention, and I hope you're doing well in options. See you next time. Bye-bye.